Advocacy Council.
Good Friday morning, Jonesboro. This is meteorologist Tim Root with your KLEK 102.5 forecast. Lots of cloud showers today. Temperatures falling into the 30s during the course of the afternoon. Showers overnight. That overnight temperature in the upper 20s and low 30s might be a snow shower. Saturday, partly sunny near 40. Then more rain showers coming into play Saturday night and Sunday. Mostly cloudy Sunday near 50. Jonesboro, that's your KLEK 102.5 FM weather.
From Feature Story News in London, I'm Ollie Barrett. Democrats in the US say they'll oppose President Trump if he declares a national emergency at the southern border. At least 40 Indian paramilitary troops were killed in an attack in Indian-administered Jammu and Kashmir. Haiti's President Jovenel Moïse is refusing to step aside amid growing protests in the country. And Russia, Turkey and Iran have agreed to take unspecified actions against fighters they say are terrorists in Syria's Idlib.
It's 9:01.
KLEK LP Jonesboro, the voice of Arkansas Minority Advocacy Council. It's now time for Community Conversations, a program focusing on the people working to make the Jonesboro community a better place, while offering viewpoints from all sides of the issues. The views expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of KLEK 102.5 FM, the voice of Arkansas Minority Advocacy Council, or our underwriters or sponsors.
Good morning, everybody, and happy Friday to you. I hope that you're having a great start to your day, and I hope you're bundled up because winter is making another round. It's not ready to let us go. All right, so you're tuned into Community Conversations. I'm your host, Covila Jones, and my special guest today is Mrs. Shunquetta Cunningham from CARES Grants. I want to say good morning to Ms. Veronica Chavez and Ms. Nora Hunt. Thank you for joining us. All right, and today we're going to be talking about the Nonprofit Summit. So good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm wonderful. I'm so glad that you're joining us, and we're going to be getting into as many details as possible. So I hope everyone out there is taking notes and making plans to attend. So let's first give the date, time, and location.
All right. So the 2019 Nonprofit Summit will be held on Friday, March 8th, 2019, at Arkansas, the Arkansas State University Delta Center for Economic Development. That's a mouthful.
It is.
Yes, from 9 a.m. to 2:30 p.m.
Okay. And for many people, we should know by now, 2019, what a nonprofit business is. But, for those that may still, have some questions, break down what a nonprofit is.
So a nonprofit organization, as far as it defined, there are a number of classifications, but the standard one that I particularly cater to and work with are 501c3 charitable organizations that are formed for scientific, charitable, religious, community-oriented purposes.
Okay.
And so with the nonprofit organization, you're tax exempt. Meaning that you do not work for a profit per se, that your profit is service.
Okay.
Not necessarily meaning that you have to be broke for a nonprofit, which we could possibly get into that. But it's just saying that you're in, that you're not about dividends per se, but that you have expended your resources for the mission in which you've been established.
Now, I do want to touch on that a little bit concerning the financial aspect of a nonprofit organization. Yes, many of them ask for donations and they have sponsors and whatnot to keep going because they have, how can I say this? For lack of a better word, they have expenses. They have bills.
Yeah.
So the money that you give to a nonprofit goes right back into their program and their services they provide for the community. A lot of people...
And operational support.
Day-to-day operations. Sometimes there are places that... I can speak from experience. I worked for 207, so 7 years at one nonprofit. And we were constantly wanting to upgrade our software as of course as technology grew, upgrade some of the equipment. We went from, I remember still having computers where you had those little hard floppy disks you had to put.
Oh yeah, I remember.
So yes. As time moved on, we had to rise with the time, and so the money that we took in went to those upgrades so that we can serve our clients more efficiently. So that's one message I want to drive home to everyone, that when you give to a nonprofit organization, you're not giving to someone's salary, because most of them have grants and other things that pays for that.
Yeah. That's a great point. And as well, when you are donating to a nonprofit organization, also remember that it does take people to run these programs.
Yes,
so I think we should actually be excited that, here's the thing, a lot of us are maybe have busy lives, and those that are committed to working with nonprofits and doing something for the greater good, like with the mentoring program, they still have families of their own that they need to support as well. I don't think that you have to lead with poverty, meaning that I don't think that just because you are saying you have a mentoring program, or that you have a shelter, or you want to help women in domestic violence situations, that you actually have to be poor to do that. And so contributing to nonprofits, I think it's very great if you vet and see how your money will be spent with these organizations, but also know that I don't think you should be as offended or have an apprehension to donate if they say, hey, 60% of this or 70% of your donation will go to the program, and then we have administrative funds and operational support. Lights have to, stay turned on. Water has to run. So all of that, goes into your donation, and that's just a minimal part of, the bigger picture.
Okay. And so then now switching gears, you work tirelessly to help nonprofits be the best they can be in whatever capacity they serve.
I'm trying.
And so you host regular summits and seminars and whatnot to help the leaders of these organizations either learn new skills or sharpen their current skills or whatever, and just expose them to new information that can be very beneficial to their organization and their staff. So tell us, first of all, we're going to get into the summit that's coming up, but I want people to get a deeper understanding of the why and why all this is very important. How did you, one, get into the grant writing business or for nonprofits specifically, and then where did the passion come from to say, I want to host something that's going to benefit them long term?
Oh, great questions. Just to make some long stories short, I started with the City of Jonesboro as a grants project coordinator, and the opportunity just arose just to kind of do it on my own. Every day you had people coming in asking, can you write grants? And the city, of course, could only direct you towards, just different resources. And then so just having that pull and tug, really from God to say, hey, you can do this. I did not want to kind of do this. It is very scary. And so that just started my journey of working with nonprofits. And then I started writing grants pro bono first, just to establish with some organizations here, and then launched CARES Grants and Services. And the Nonprofit Summit came about, again, one of those things that I'm privileged to go to various workshops and events all of the time, and but I was like, why do I have to keep going to Little Rock and keep going to Memphis, and why can't we bring something here? And at first I was trying to get other organizations to do it, but again, that God is saying, if there is not a table for you, you make your own. And so here we are with the third year of hosting the Nonprofit Summit, the only nonprofit summit held in this region for nonprofit leaders, board members, volunteers, for an opportunity for nonprofit people that are passionate about nonprofit services to come together, learn more. You can never learn enough. I think sometimes we get complacent in what we know, and things are always changing. I mean, just think about 5 years ago, the rate of crowdfunding and raising money online, just even through Facebook now, that if you link your organization to Facebook and someone can, allocate their birthday money just for your organization. And so there's always changes. And I think we just need to be, the best leaders are those that like to stay and know about those changes and see if it fits. Not everything is a fit for you, but at least expose yourself to that information.
I'm glad you brought that up because, again, I worked for a nonprofit before, now I'm volunteering for one, but along my journey, I've been exposed to other organizations, worked with other people, volunteered, and blah, blah. So I've seen people come and go, I've seen people get in the business for the wrong reasons, for name, fame, fortune, glory, whatever the case may be. What message would you give to people who are considering starting a nonprofit, volunteering, or working at one?
One of the first messages, I think, especially with grassroots organizations, those organizations that start that are not connected to a larger chain like Boys and Girls Club. So if you're just starting like Jones Mentoring and in services or something, I would say a nonprofit is not a retirement plan. I get calls literally or emails daily, and this is no exaggeration. I'm tired of working and I just want to do something on my own, and then kind of disappointed by my answer, saying, yeah, it takes time. It's just like any other business. So a nonprofit is not a retirement plan. And then two, going back to a nonprofit is like a business. The same amount of work. You okay? No, okay. The same amount of work that's needed for a nonprofit, for a business startup, is the exact same amount of work that's needed for a nonprofit. And I would say it's probably even harder, because with a nonprofit, you are working with a group of people. You have to have a board of directors first. People come to me all the time and say, hey, I've submitted my incorporation papers. We've already filed for our 501c3, and you've done that on your own or with your sister or someone, and that's not the proper way to do it. You need a board of directors. So there's a group of people making decisions for your nonprofit. So I would say it's even harder. So one, it's not a retirement plan. Two, you have to put the same tenacity in starting that nonprofit that you would, any business.
Yes, ma'am, because hopefully, people are getting into nonprofit organizations. And again, nonprofit is simply a tax. It's a classification.
Yeah. It's a way for you to do a community good, and then for you to be able to collect those funds to do it and not have those funds taxed. And so it's definitely a safe exemption and a safe status for you to, again, because everything takes money, and that's maybe that would be number 3 added. Everything takes money. So just give. If you're going to give, you have to just know, again, that money goes to programs, and it goes to operational support, administrative support. All of that is necessary to run a nonprofit. Yes, and if the first thing that you are going to do is question when you give your $25 donation is, your $25 donation is, is it going to salaries? It probably is, but that's okay. Because you're not doing it. And so that's a great escape for you to say, hey, I can support what you are doing because you're committing your time to that. And I know also you need to eat. So that goes hand in hand.
And another thing I've learned, most are the bigger, nonprofits, and this is not to throw shade on anyone, but the bigger ones that are into research, just like the Susan G. Komen, their salaries are a little more, but someone on the lower end, like you said, grassroots, they are probably bringing home, if they bring home a salary, it's minimum wage or somewhere in that time, so any little extra will help gas, lunch, just little things.
No, definitely. All of that is important. And at the summit, I think it would be great to hear from other people that have the same concerns as you. It's one thing to go through this by yourself if you're building your nonprofit or if you want to get into it, and then to recognize that you're not the only one that are having the same issues or have the same concerns. So gathering with a group of your peers, it's always good. So I'm encouraging everyone, if you have not registered, to register for this summit. If you even have just an inclination that you want to start or get more involved with assisting one, I think too, listening from other leaders and understanding their side is also great as well, because it's a lot of pressure, because the reality is nonprofit leaders wear so many hats. They are the executive directors, the fundraising chairs, they're doing the meeting and greeting, they're at these luncheons trying to market their organization. So they are in the PR as well. They're so multifaceted, and I think at the summit you at least be able to just take a breather and say, hey, you're just like me, and learn. Also, one thing I wanted to add with the summit.
Okay.
So I submitted for a grant for some passion planners, and I don't know if you all have heard of the passion planners. They average about $40 to $50, and these planners are like if you have a planner like me, I live by my planner, and in it has inspirational quotes, very task oriented, detailed, and so if you register for the nonprofit summit, you will also be receiving one of these planners. I know, right? I'm so excited. I need to share the picture, but if you just even go to passionplanner.com, and you will see how wonderful these planners are. Again, if you love planners, and I love planners, I love a great planner, and I mean they have financial goals, tasks, and they're great. And so register. You can't beat that, because the ticket price is actually the price of the planner by itself. So,
oh wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And again, going back to, we're non-commercial, so we can't list, we can't say over the air the price of the summit, but however, I can put it in the Facebook Live feed a little bit later, and you can also check our social media pages and go to Charis, KHARIS Grants on Facebook, and you'll be able to find this information as well. I want to read I guess it's your theme or submission statement, or building stronger nonprofits to build stronger communities. And I want you to talk on that. We're going to ride this out we have like 3-4 minutes.
Okay, that's fine. I certainly will. Let me first give a shout out to my Facebook Live, and my mother is on here. She's watching. She just asked about her grandson, my 4-month-old baby. Mama, he is at home with his daddy. Sanford is at the house, so he is okay. My mom, she's that grandma.
One day later down the line, I'll be a grandma.
Oh my, because she probably would ask 1,000 times and embarrass me on my Facebook Live. So, but going back to your question, so building stronger nonprofits for stronger communities, I think nonprofits are really some of the first responders as well. Okay. So we have, firefighters and policemen. I think nonprofits are first responders, because just think about even what we went through with the government shutdown. The burden of a lot of what was going on, food pantries, were placed on. These are nonprofit organizations that were servicing those people that had an emergency and a need at that moment. Whether there were clothing closets or medication sites set up through nonprofit organizations and churches, it was nonprofits who were answering the call. And so I think that building stronger nonprofits, because when something immediate happens, things take months to trickle down from the government. But if you need a plate of food or a bowl of soup or something, you can immediately go to your nonprofit organization. And so I think building stronger nonprofits helps communities in general. And actually, you can just see it in different communities that are declining, dilapidated housing, and just, blight conditions. You can also take a look at the strength of the nonprofits. And if you don't have a community that have strong nonprofits, Jonesboro is an excellent example of having strong nonprofits, and it has a strong community. But I also know, and I look at even from my hometown and different areas, to where if you have struggling nonprofits, I guarantee you the community is also struggling as well.
All right, so hopefully at the summit, individuals that attend can be inspired and motivated to say, how can I jumpstart, restart, revamp, whatever my organization or whatever organization I'm a part of, because again, we want to help build stronger communities. That's one thing I try to be an advocate for, is to inspire others to, if one person does one thing, imagine how many things can get done if each person did just one thing. Again, building the community, because I'm always thinking forward and looking back to our younger generation, but thinking forward, how can I play my part to build something better for them.
Yeah, and that's actually the theme of the summit, is moving forward in service. I think also what we have to understand with nonprofits, and when you get into that work, is that everything does not happen overnight. And a lot of times people are not as patient with nonprofits. And you think that if it took 30 years to destroy a community, a nonprofit organization can't come in 3 days and rebuild it to that degree. It takes time and it takes work. And so I think that's why it's important to support your nonprofits, or if you have grassroots organizations starting, to not be so hard on them, because it took decades to come to these conditions, and so it's going to take decades to restore. But I think if you're in that work, knowing that legacy, that you have people behind you. I mean, we're here in Black History Month, and we're all sitting here because of the work that a lot of people did not see, but they just had the expectation and the hope that it would come to fruition for us. And so we're living those dreams. And I think too, with the work that we're doing with nonprofits today, or if you desire to get in, just know that someone else may benefit greater than you, but that's okay. I have 5 children. I want the world to be better, just because they still have to go on.
Yes, ma'am. And I hope that more people start thinking along that mindset. It's okay if someone does better than me. That means I've done my part to lay the foundation for them to rise higher. I tell my son that all the time, that I want you to be better than me. I want you to be more financially stable than me. I want you to be healthier than me.
Amen.
And I want that for everyone around me, so.
Yeah.
We're going to put a pause right there. Okay. And when we come back, we're going to get deeper into the summit and give us some more details for those that are interested in coming. If they need a little more inspiration, we're going to drive it on home.
Okay. Awesome.
You're tuning to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM. We'll be right back after these messages.
You're listening to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM. We'll be right back.
When conflict arises in your family, do you know how to fight fair? I'm Mark Merrill with today's Family Minute. Conflict tends to bring out the worst in people. They can all too easily become aggressive, insulting, and hurting, leaving wounds on their family members for a long time to come. So, how can you fight fair? Here are a few ways your family can fight fair. First, know when to take a break. When things start escalating, sometimes it's best to take a short break and walk away from the situation to calm down. Second, lower your defenses. This is a great way to diffuse intense emotions and avoid saying or doing things you'll later regret. Remember, your family first.
Want to connect with Mark on Facebook? You can at facebook.com/Mark Merrill.
Family Minute is made possible by the Kappa Nu Omega chapter of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, a non-profit organization committed to service to all mankind. Kappa Nu Omega Alpha Kappa Alpha on Facebook and KNOMEGA1908.com.
Family Minute is brought to you by the Gears Foundation, a non-profit organization providing students with assistance in their academic and career pursuits. Gears Foundation on Facebook, Gears_Inc. on Instagram, and the Gears Foundation at gmail.com.
Calling all women and minority business owners as well as the general public. KLEK 102.5 FM presents the 2019 Women and Minority Business Showcase, Saturday, February 16th from noon until 6 at Centennial Hall in the Arkansas State University Student Union. Live broadcast on KLEK and on Facebook. This is your opportunity to show what your business, church, or organization has to offer to the unique, diverse audience of KLEK listeners, supporters, and the Jonesboro community as a whole, or to just check out all the vendors in attendance. Vendor registration is $25, $50 if you sell items on site, and you can register at klekfm.org, but you must register by February 4th. Free admission to attend. The KLEK Women and Minority Business Showcase is sponsored by the Arkansas State University Office of Diversity and Community Engagement, Full Sun Gifts, and Bancourt South. This event is a KLEK fundraiser.
The Office of Diversity and Community Engagement at Arkansas State University, under the leadership of Dr. Maurice Gibson, is a proud supporter of KLEK and is dedicated to finding innovative ways to advance their mission of creating a diverse and inclusive environment, conducive to educating, enhancing, and enriching lives, uplifting various and diverse groups on the A-State campus, and striving to maintain Arkansas State University a place that is inclusive to all individuals, regardless of origin, color, religion, socioeconomic status, or sexual orientation. More information about the Arkansas State University Office of Diversity and Community Engagement is available at www.astate.edu/diversity and 870-972-3081.
House of Details, located at 3915 East Highland in Jonesboro, is a proud supporter of KLEK, offering detailing on any type of vehicle: basic wash, hand wash, shampoo, interior cleaning, waxing, buffering, headlight restoration, pickup, delivery, and more, with the motto of anything mean we can clean. Details at 870-273-5187. House of Details on Facebook and at klekfm.org.
And now back to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM.
Welcome back to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM. My special guest is Mrs. Shunquetta Cunningham from Caris Grants and Services, and we are going to be now getting into the actual summit that is on March 8th. And again, you can find this information. Is it on your website as well?
Yes, and that's at www.consultcaris. That's CONSULT Caris KHARIS.com.
All right. You can find the flyer and registration information on the website. You can also find our Facebook page as well. And so let's get deeper into your speakers and the various topics. Will it be one session all day, or will there be some breakout sessions for specialized topics? How's the setup?
Okay, so we will have, basically it's just kind of a lecture style for most of the day with various speakers. Okay. So for instance, we have, and I just posted this on the Caris Grants and Services Facebook page. If you go and like that page and look up the information, we have Mr. Michael Harris, Esquire of Memphis, Tennessee. Okay. He will talk about intentional leadership, and so he actually profiles leaders. Will tell you your leadership style. Basically, if you're kind of like this shark leader, I had the opportunity to attend one of his workshops, and that's how we came into contact with one another. I mean, just things I have not even heard of, like if you're this shark leader, and so how you come off to people, and then in reality, and then how you think you're coming off to people within yourself. So he is an expert in that, and then also telling you to where there's nothing wrong with various leadership styles, but things you need to know how you need to be mindful of the approach that you have and the people that you need to surround yourself with, to build a team. And trust me, it's a reality for me, because personally, and people probably watching can attest to this, I am not always as attuned to my delivery at times, because I am a D personality. Like, I have a very dominant personality. And so I've already done my assessment. And so at times to where I can just like that no sugar, no honey type, just give it to you straight. And you have to be mindful of that, because not everyone can take that. And so where you thinking like, okay, I'm just talking, but then some people could be offended because they may have a softer personality, or how they receive stuff is totally different. And so he's going to go through all of that good stuff. We also have Jeremy Biggs here of the CASA, the Second Judicial District. He will be speaking about how to build a board member, and your board members, and how to be a great board member. Again, going back to starting your nonprofit, you cannot start your nonprofit without a board of directors. And he's going to speak about that. Even though he's an executive director of one of the largest nonprofits here, he's also a board member to many organizations, a city councilman and Paragould. And so he's going to talk about how to build your board, how to get them involved in your fundraising efforts, in promoting your organization. I sat on the board of CASA for 3 years, and how to utilize your board. I was, often delegated to go and speak on behalf of CASA to different things because, again, the executive director can't do it all. And so, if you're a board member or want to become a board member, you should be well versed in the mission of your organization and sharing the story of your organization. So he's going to talk about that. So we're going to have a number of things, great things in store.
I'm glad you brought that up. I've been asked, to, attend some meetings and just see if I like it and if I think I would be a good fit. And there's some things I've had to turn down. One, because I'm still in school. Yeah. But two, again, I don't want to add too much to my plate and then become overwhelmed and then don't feel like I fit, but then I make this commitment and then I have to back out. So now I'm again leaving a gap for this organization to try to fill again. Like, I just want to be very mindful of am I going to be able to commit emotionally, spiritually, physically to this role, and am I really going to be a good fit?
Yeah. Burnout is real. Let me say that. It definitely is. So my 3 years was ending with CASA. So I'll just give an example as a board member.
Okay.
And then I had the baby, of course. And so what I did resign from the board, but I did not resign without a recommendation for someone to fill that spot.
Okay.
And so I think that's just important to where things happen in life, and sometimes I can't apologize for having a baby and just not being able to commit, but being responsible enough to say, hey, I cannot fully commit, and so that happened on that situation. I've had organizations to where I've just bailed out on altogether as well. Because I think, too, it is kind of selfish if you're not being as productive in that role, and I think that's why it's important to hear from someone who is an executive director who has to appoint with the board, the other board members, different board, additional board members, and also someone who is a board member to say, how can I help? Especially I think being a board member is also a great way to be involved in the organization, but not have to be taxed with the day-to-day things that go on if you still want to support. And I love CASA. And so I'm still continuing to work with CASA. I will be doing the training up in April to become an advocate, so I just, if you're going to be a board member of an organization, you have to be invested and believe in that organization. And CASA is definitely an organization I believe in. So we're excited to have Jeremy come and talk.
I'm glad you brought that up because I was hoping that he would definitely cover that. If you are going to make a commitment to an organization, one, you should have an interest in what the service they provide. And you should dig within yourself and say, okay, this what I believe in align with the mission and goals.
Exactly.
And it's okay to shop around and, do a deeper investigation of the organization just to see if you're fit for them, they're fit for you, and, whatever. So it's okay to say no. It's really okay to say no.
Or not right now.
Yes.
I think that works well too. And with 5 kids and a newborn baby right now, it's a lot of things are not right now for me. A number of things. So if you're going to call me for something and it's a not right now, hey, 5 kids. It just says a lot. I'm getting things together now. And this summit is actually proof of that this is definitely taken up a lot of time, but it's a great investment. I love being able to just be with other people and to learn. I'm an avid learner. I love to read. I love to learn new things. And so, the Nonprofit Summit, if you don't want to read a book, if you don't want to look at the latest article, hey, you can come in and get that personal conversation. We're also going to have a CEO roundtable. So last year we did that. and it was such a big hit. So we divided up the groups, divided into like 6-7 groups.
Okay.
And we had a number of questions, and they asked each other and were able to talk amongst themselves as well, just not getting information fed to them, but were able to share their own stories with other nonprofit and community leaders. And so that was a big hit. So we're going to have the CEO roundtable again, and yeah, I mean, it was such a big hit to where they were like, hey, do not come back in here, do not stop this. So I end up cutting my presentation short because I was the next speaker just to accommodate that, but I didn't mind that at all. They paid for the event, and I mean, I didn't mind that at all. So we're going to have that again. I'm excited.
I think moments like that really, again, goes back to what you mentioned earlier about it helps others feel or see that they're not alone in some of the stresses that they face within the organization. There are other people who are going through the same thing, different scale, but same types of frustrations and because of the day-to-day operation, there are people who are facing some of the same things.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm sure it's very refreshing to kind of like a strategizing, and my words are really escaping me today.
It is.
But kind of a brainstorming, strategizing.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Say powwow, but that's
not
the point.
But no, it's just or empowerment sessions with one another. So yeah, that's you're perfectly right with that. And with the nonprofit summit, one thing that I'm gathering too, how much we do not know, and that's even including myself, that there are some organizations here I have yet to meet the executive directors or just even presenting my services. And I think with other nonprofits, especially when you're wanting to start a nonprofit, now I know to do this. When I first started, I didn't, but now I know because you grow also, with in business and services, that it's good to take an assessment. So if you're starting a nonprofit and you want my services, I'll always ask you, who are the other people that are doing what you want to do? Because you are not the first. And that's not saying that your voice is not needed in the conversation or in the service arena, but it's good to know who else has a domestic violence shelter, or who else is working on prison reform, or who else is there, because there's opportunity for partnership, especially if you're starting out. Resources are skimp, and it could be that, hey, I have an organization, I don't have a building right now, but may I come and do these sessions at your place, and we can combine our programs. Partnerships are key to everything, and especially, look, it's Black History Month, so let me just get to hit it, that we have to learn that outside of churches or with churches, that we have to partner. Partnerships are everything, especially when you're working with little or minimal resources, I should say, knowing who is who. But if there are 10 mentoring girls groups in the city and you have yet to collaborate on an event, you're doing yourself a disservice. Go reach out, connect. I mean, I just can't stress that enough.
And that's one of the reasons that I started Camp Radio through Kaylee K is...
Oh, I forgot to submit my baby's application.
That's okay. Because I wanted to provide that platform for those mentor groups to come together, because I keep calling them babies. They're babies to me.
Right.
They're going to be the leaders of our community, and we have to start now.
Yes.
Planting seeds, and I'm not trying to take away from what their mentors are doing with them.
Oh yeah.
It's just a different aspect, a different side.
Right.
It's just something a little different to add on to whatever they're already learning.
Yeah. Well, they don't have a radio station, so I mean, they don't have that platform. Again, that goes to partnerships. That's not you're not oversaturated the market with like, and here's another mentoring group, but it's like they don't have this communication medium. So again, but the partnerships from what you're doing could come from, hey, do you have some girls from your organization that you think would be a great fit to have topics? Those are how partnerships can happen, and that you don't have to just again go and do what someone replicate. That's the word I'm looking for. What someone else is doing is just if you have that passion, I'd say if God put it on your heart to start that nonprofit organization to work with that specific target audience, then go forth in that. Is just be mindful. Again, starting a nonprofit is just like starting a business. You have to know your market. Yes. So, like if you wanted to start a drugstore, you have to know there's a CVS, Walgreens, or Sue's Drugs and all that in the community. Then if you want to start your nonprofit organization, you need to know too who else is doing similar services in the area.
Now, is there a place, I know you've talked about before, you and another lady are working on an actual directory.
Yes.
But is there a place in the city to go to see what organizations or businesses are already registered?
Yes. Now, I know the chamber has a list of organizations, of charitable organizations compiled. I do know that document is there, and then United Way has a directory as well. Yeah, those are the primary two sources. Yeah.
So if you would like to learn more information about what's available, we try to do our best here, but there's, like you said, there's so many.
Yeah, there are a lot.
There's only so many people, so we do the best we can to raise awareness for those organizations. But hopefully you and the other young lady that's going to be working with you will put a nice directory together that's in a easy to access spot.
Yeah, and then too, and that has been mentioned before, because there, again, going back to different community segments, there is a wide directory that's already been placed by the organizations, and then there are other grassroots organizations that are not on there because they're just not on the radar. And so I do need to make a more intentional effort. Again, my disclaimer, I have a 4-month-old baby, and so but we're working on that. I'm working on that. I hope by the end of the year.
And then this is where someone can come in and say, I have administrative skills, how can I help you? You know, and it's about, don't be afraid to volunteer your time, people.
Do not, come on. I welcome you. Shunquetta Cunningham welcomes you. If you are interested in doing that, come on. Hey, you can message me. I welcome you. Seriously.
I mean, there are people who are social media savvy,
and I'm not.
Who can get on the internet and find almost anything.
Yeah.
And they can, if nothing else, they can feed you names for whoever's, creating the spreadsheet. So
feed me.
So I'm just listening for you.
Yes, feed me. That's fine. But that goes back to why I think it's important when you come to the summit. Networking is so important that there are a lot of things that you can do or opportunities that you can have that is not based on qualifications or your degree. It's simply because you know someone else. And so if you're in the nonprofit area, then you should know other nonprofit people or business people. So I think that's why it's also important to come, and just so you can come, and get your name out there if you're building your nonprofit. I would encourage you, do not come without your business cards. You have plenty of time to order them. Come with your business cards. Come knowing, your mission statement and what you want to do. So when you're introducing yourselves to someone else, they ask you, hey, what do you do? Or who do you service with your organization? You can immediately say that to someone.
I'm glad you brought that up as well. I've met people, not necessarily here in Jonesboro, but I've met people, and they give me the what we do is, all that filler, all those filler words without. I feel that if you run an organization or you have a program, you should be able to spit. You should be able to eat, sleep, breathe. It should be second nature to you almost.
Oh yeah, I literally have it on my phone every day at 6 a.m. When my alarm goes off, I have mission, and my mission statement comes up.
Okay.
And so I think that's a great way too of just rehearsing, so it can just be embedded. I mean, the same biblical principle just goes to everything. I mean, even down to sports, repetition is everything. So when you're rehearsing, your mission or what you want, even what you want to do, I think that's just important. So, yeah.
And I'm learning here, the more interviews that I do, and I'm learning. I've only been with Kelly K, going on almost 3 years now. So I'm learning the mission statement, learning our purpose, and learning what we do, trying to expound on our entertain, empower, and educate, entertain, empower.
Yeah.
You know, I'm trying to be more proficient.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I want the words to just fall off my tongue.
Well, you're doing a great job. You are doing a great job, and even just continuing just the work in these interviews and the platform here, and it's showing with KLEK again as a nonprofit. Well, I can say one of the leading nonprofits here in the city. As well, just the platform that you all are reaching. I think that just goes and should be an encouragement for other nonprofit leaders, or even if you are a seasoned nonprofit leader, that things, you have highs and you have lows. That's just life. But the more you know, I do think that's you have a better process in pushing through. So that's why it's important. Come to the Nonprofit Summit, work with other individuals and learn more, grow, empower yourself so that you can empower your nonprofit, which in turn empowers your community.
Yes, ma'am.
Hand clap.
Yes, I get excited talking about nonprofits. As we get ready to go to break, I want to ask you this: people who are considering having higher positions in a nonprofit, whether they're the director, chief financial officer, whatever role they play, should they consider certifications or higher advanced education in certain fields that is directly related to the service that they provide?
I would say yes. I think there's many paths, I would say, to whatever success and whatever road you're on. So whether that's certifications, or that's attending workshops like the Summit, whether that's going back to getting another degree, whatever it is that is necessary for you to achieve that goal and to progress, then do that thing. Okay. Yeah, right. Definitely.
We're going to put a pause right there. When we come back, we'll wrap up our discussion and give you the date, time, location again. Please stay tuned to Community Conversations. We'll be right back after these announcements.
You're listening to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM. We'll be right back.
We're back with Money Matters. I'm Alfred Edmond Jr. Infomercials can be irresistible. To help avoid problems when purchasing products advertised through infomercials, the Better Business Bureau recommends that you take these steps. Read and understand the fine print. Make sure you know purchase and return policies, restocking fees, and exchange options. Review the seller's privacy policy. Learn if your name and other information will be sold or used to solicit for other offers. Obtain a specific delivery time. Be suspicious if the business cannot supply this information. Pay by credit card and keep those receipts. Check your billing and financial statement regularly for only authorized transactions. For more information about purchasing products and registering complaints, visit bbb.org. I'm Alfred Edmond Jr. for Money Matters, a product of American Urban Radio Networks.
Money Matters is made possible by the Jonesboro Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, a nonprofit organization focused on joy in our sisterhood, power in our voice, and service in our hearts. www.jonesboroalumnidst.org.
Money Matters is brought to you by Bancorp South, offering checking, savings, loans, credit cards, and wealth management. 5 locations in Jonesboro to serve you. www.bancorpsouth.com or 870-972-9800.
Money Matters is brought to you by the Gears Foundation, a nonprofit organization providing students with assistance in their academic and career pursuits. Gears Foundation on Facebook, Gears_Inc. on Instagram, and the Gears Foundation at gmail.com.
Cool Cuts, Texas, 1411 Franklin Street, Suite 6 in Jonesboro offers a variety of tax preparation services, individual and business returns, processing tax refunds, refund anticipation loans, earned income credit for children, children, and more. Owner Bernard Cobbs has 20 years of experience and is available by appointment at 870-520-7470. Details on our website, klekfm.org, under our corporate sponsors directory.
The key to making this station even better could be parked in your driveway right now. Donate your old car to us, you'll get a tax deduction, and we'll tow it away for free.
Go to klekfm.org for more information.
The Mu Omicron Lambda chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated was established on January 1st, 1977, originally serving Blytheville, Arkansas, and now serving Jonesboro, Blytheville, Osceola, Marion, and West Memphis, Arkansas. Today, the chapter continues to make an impact by focusing on Alpha's national community outreach initiatives such as My Brother's Keeper, A Voteless People is a Hopeless People, Go to High School, Go to College, Project Alpha, Boy Scouts, and the March of Dimes. The Mu Omicron Lambda chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated is committed to Alpha's mission of developing leaders, promoting brotherhood and academic excellence, while providing service and advocacy to the community. More information about the Mu Omicron Lambda chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated is available at MOL Alphas on Facebook or via email at molalphas@gmail.com.
Experience the joy with Bishop Adrian R. Rogers, pastor of Fullness of Joy Church, 2120 Thorn Street, Jonesboro, Arkansas, 72401. Wednesday night, Word and Worship, 7 p.m. Prayer Thursday night at 7 p.m. Sunday School, 9:30 a.m. Sunday morning worship, 11 o'clock a.m. And our Sunday night live service at 7 p.m.
And now back to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM.
Welcome back to the last segment of Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM. My special guest today has been Mrs. Shunquetta Cunningham from CARES Grants and Services. I can't thank you enough for coming and sharing this wonderful information. I know we've kind of gone around the world, but I want people to get this deeper understanding of what nonprofits are, the people that work within them, the community that you serve. Be mindful of the services you provide and not constantly changing. That's another thing I've seen with some organizations. They start out with one model, and then over time, well, that's not working, or they want to do something different. They want to keep up with the trend so much that they lose their initial mission, purpose of what they started for.
Yeah, they can compromise their own mission due to... Well, let me say there is a balance, because I think you have to also be relevant to your community. So if you're, I think I made this example last time, so if I have it, but it's just so easy. So if you're going to a school that has a 99% graduation rate, everyone is making A's and B's, then offering a tutoring program at that school is probably not relevant. And so if that's how you started out, you may have to refocus or reshift, and just see, maybe you need to go into another area. But what I do see a number of times is the compromise of the mission for funding sources. So if you have this particular grant out and they may be doing a food program, you don't like preparing food, cooking, anything of the sort, but because you see this money, and but not knowing that when you get this money, this is an exchange. Nothing is free. And so grants, and we didn't touch on that, so we can probably just do this last few minutes. Grants are not free money. There's a responsibility that you have it's an exchange. We're going to give you this money to be the service, to be the hands, to do this mission work. And in return, you have to do everything that you said you were going to do with the funds that we gave you, and then also have to report with those funds. And when you hear about people getting in financial trouble or getting grants revoked from them, and that's because they have not adhered to those grant requirements, spending the money like they want to spend, and it's not free money. Again, going back to nonprofit organizations and applying for grants, it is not a retirement plan. People are not paying you to live your best life. Right. You are supposed to be impacting the lives of someone else, with the money that you're entrusted with. So just to remember that you want to apply for grants, And also, there are certain things that you just have to have. And you can go on my website and contact me for that. There are certain things that you have to have in place as well. Structure, meeting with your board regularly, good financial practices before you're even eligible for grants.
Okay. And then from my experience with the other agency I worked for, if you don't spend the money, they want the rest. They want the balance back.
Right. Which is why you should set your budget fairly. So if you know you only need $20,000, don't be greedy and, ask for $50,000 and you haven't spent it all, because they might, no, you can't play with our money to figure out. It's not a wish list, So again, that same structure is definitely needed for nonprofits.
And that's why you need to attend the summit.
Yes.
So, again, give us all the date, time. Give us that information again.
Okay, so register for the summit, or tell your friend, or tell your coworker, or give to other nonprofit leaders. It's Friday, March 8th, 2019, 9 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. It will be held at the ASU Delta Center for Economic Development. You can register at www.consultcaris.com.
All right. So please go register, and then, as she mentioned before, you can get one of those passion planners.
Yes, a passion planner. Look it up, and you will see what I'm talking about. Absolutely great. And I also wanted to mention, in 10 seconds, we will be having another speaker is Mr. Michael Hooks, and he works. He is the number one sales agent here in the state of Arkansas in the car dealership industry. And the reason why that is important, he's actually going to be talking about sales, because one thing we don't like to talk about, you're doing service, you're a nonprofit, but everything is selling. Everything is sales. So he's going to talk to us about the art of conversation, how he tells me he don't sell cars, but he provides modes of transportation so you can go and do the things that you need to do for your life. I was like, you right about that. So we're going to have him. It's going to be great. I also would be speaking about grant writing and telling your story, and the lunch is included. So just come on out.
All right, so I just want to recap. Again, you can see a description of the speakers for the event. So one would be Meet the Speaker and Intentional Leader, Mr. Michael L. Harris, Esquire, MPA, CCEP of Memphis, Tennessee, will present Working in the Mirror, Why Leaders Should Fear Their Reflection, to give leaders a better understanding of who they are as a leader and how to build a team that is capable of getting things done. I wanted to ask you this earlier. Have you seen from your experience and from the discussions at the different summits, people lead based on, and we touched on it, people lead by their personality versus leading by what the business requires and the workers that are in there with the organization.
And it's all necessary, to be honest, because you definitely have to live your own truth. Okay. And so I know the type of leader in the work that I'm called to do. I know now, and I have a better understanding why I am so staunch and so once I see it, I need to get it done, because it's just the type of leader and the personality that I have. These assessments and things, what he'll teach you is like how to be most effective with your various leadership style. And so I think that's important for all of us.
Right, and then the other speaker is Mr. Jeremy Biggs, Executive Director of CASA, 2nd Judicial District. He will talk about being a board member, because he's served in all those capacities.
Yes, and we'll have Tiffany Calloway with the City of Jonesboro, myself, and we have some other speakers that will be discussing fundraising. I think it's important. I know we're wrapping up the last 30 seconds, so please register at www.consultcaris.com.
All right, and I pinned the website in our Facebook Live feed.
You gotta show me how to do that.
And this video will also be available on YouTube later for those who don't do Facebook. So there's still ways to get the information.
Great.
Please go out and support. And then take a look at the nonprofits in your area and think about how you can serve them as well. Serving the nonprofit, helping build them up, like you said, helps to build the communities. It's almost like it sparks something within the members of a community, and it empowers them. And then they in turn want to do better. And the more people that are doing better, the better the community is, and it starts thriving. So we got to take care of our
Yes.
own. We got to start from the bottom, work our way up.
Definitely agree. Thank you all for having me. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you for joining us. So I hope everyone has a great and blessed weekend. Don't forget tomorrow, ASU convocations. No, ASU Centennial Hall Women in Minority Business Showcase. Want to give a shout out to Full Sun, ASU, Centennial Bank. I know I'm missing somebody. Please forgive me. Office of Diversity.
Yeah. Let me shout them out too. The ASU Center for the Office of Diversity and Multicultural Affairs, who are one of our sponsors. I definitely thank you for the summit. Yes, thank you.
All right, thank you all. Have a blessed day and try to stay warm and dry.
Thank you for listening to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM, a program focusing on the people working to make the Jonesboro community a better place while offering viewpoints